The Harrington mansion stood at the top of the hill, grand and cold, surrounded by trimmed hedges that could never hide the chaos inside. Behind its tall iron gates, laughter was never gentle. It was sharp, mocking, filled with the kind of rebellion that only pain could fuel. Ethan and Lily, the billionaire's children, were legends in the town below. The boy, 10 years old with icy blue eyes, had already scared away 5 tutors in less than 3 months. The girl, 8, sweet-faced but cruel when she wanted to be, followed her brother like a shadow of mischief. Their games were no longer innocent. They cut the heads off their dolls, poured ink into the pool, and set off alarms just to see the guards panic. Every corner of that mansion carried the scent of expensive perfume and despair. Mr. Harrington, their father, was a man built of steel and exhaustion. His empire of hotels stretched across continents, yet he couldn't control his own home. Every morning he sat at the breakfast table, untouched coffee cooling beside his trembling hand, listening to the chaos above. His assistants whispered that he was cursed, that wealth had taken his wife and left him with children who seemed possessed by grief. He dismissed every nanny the moment she cried or begged to leave, but each failure etched another crack in his heart. That morning, the storm began early. Ethan had stolen his father's phone and ordered 100 pizzas to the mansion, laughing hysterically as the delivery trucks crowded the gate. Lily poured orange juice into the grand piano, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction as the liquid seeped into the keys. The housekeeper tried to stop them, and Ethan screamed, "You can't tell us what to do. You're not our mother." His words hit the walls like a curse, silencing everyone in the room. Mr. Harrington came down the stairs in his dark suit, the weight of a man who had tried too hard for too long. His eyes met his son's, and for a brief moment he saw the same defiance his late wife used to wear when she argued about love over power. "Enough, Ethan," he said quietly, but the boy only smirked and threw the phone to the floor, shattering it. That was when the front doorbell rang, a soft chime cutting through the thick tension. The butler hesitated before opening it. On the doorstep stood a young woman, her coat dripping from the rain, her hair plastered to her cheeks. She didn't look like the others, no pearls, no perfume, no fear in her eyes, just calm. "Good morning," she said gently, her voice steady. "I'm Clara. You called about a nanny?" Her words seemed to hang in the air like a fragile promise. Mr. Harrington studied her, something unexplainable flickering in his expression. For the first time in months, he nodded without hesitation. As Clara stepped into the mansion, she glanced around, the mess, the broken glass, the drawings on the wall, and smiled, not with pity but with understanding. The children watched her curiously from the staircase, whispering to each other. She looked up at them and said quietly, "You must be Ethan and Lily. I've heard you're quite the challenge." The boy narrowed his eyes. "You won't last a week," he muttered. Clara smiled again, her tone still soft but unshakable. "Then let's make this week count." In that instant, though no one realized it yet, the storm inside the Harrington mansion had finally met something stronger than itself. From the moment Clara unpacked her modest suitcase in the West Wing, the children made it their mission to break her. The first morning, they locked her room from the outside and laughed as she knocked politely, asking to be let out. When the butler finally freed her, she walked out without anger, brushed the dust off her dress, and joined them for breakfast as if nothing had happened. Ethan smirked when she sat down at the long table. "Aren't you going to yell?" he taunted. Clara simply poured herself tea and replied, "If I yelled, would it make you feel better?" That quiet answer silenced him for the first time. Over the next few days, the mansion became a battlefield of mischief. Lily filled Clara's closet with shaving foam. Ethan programmed the intercom system to blare monster sounds in the middle of the night. Yet Clara never raised her voice, never complained to their father. Instead, she started observing them, their small gestures, the way Ethan's hands trembled when anyone mentioned school, the way Lily stared too long at the family portraits before turning her face away. She began to understand that beneath their cruelty was something far heavier than disobedience. One afternoon, while a storm raged outside, Clara found Lily hiding behind the grand staircase, clutching a small silver locket. The girl's eyes were red, her voice trembling. "Don't tell Ethan I cry," she whispered. "He says it's weak." Clara knelt beside her. "You can cry with me," she said softly. "It doesn't make you weak, it makes you human." Lily opened the locket to reveal a tiny photograph of her mother. She used to sing to us every night. Now Ethan says she forgot us." Clara hesitated for a moment before humming a gentle tune. Lily froze. "That's the song she sang," she said, eyes wide. "How do you know it?" Clara smiled faintly, her eyes misty. "Your mother taught it to me," she said. "I worked for her once, before she passed. She used to talk about you two all the time." Lily's lip trembled, confusion flickering into hope. "You knew her?" she whispered. Clara nodded, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. "She loved you more than anything in this world, and I promised her I'd help you remember that love." For the first time in years, Lily threw her arms around someone and cried freely, her sobs echoing through the empty halls. That evening, the change began to show. Lily sat beside Clara during dinner, quietly humming that same lullaby. Ethan noticed and frowned but didn't say a word. When Clara looked at him, she didn't see defiance, she saw fear hiding behind it. Later that night, as the mansion slept, Clara stood by the window, gazing at the storm outside. She whispered softly to herself, "I'm keeping my promise. Anna." And somewhere down the hallway, Ethan stirred in his sleep, hearing the faint echo of the same lullaby his mother once sang, unaware that his heart was beginning to soften. Ethan's resistance only grew stronger after that night. He didn't trust Clara's calmness, didn't trust her stories about his mother, and above all, didn't trust the strange warmth creeping into his sister's smile. "She's lying," he told Lily the next morning, slamming his door. "She's just another adult who thinks she can fix us." But even as he said it, his voice shook. Lily just looked at him quietly, the locket clutched in her hand. "Maybe she's not trying to fix us, Ethan," she said softly. "Maybe she's just trying to love us." He turned away, unable to answer. That afternoon, Mr. Harrington had left for a business meeting, and the storm outside rolled back over the hills, darker than before. Clara was in the study reading when she heard the frantic steps upstairs. Lily's voice cried out, sharp, terrified. Clara ran out and looked up toward the grand staircase. Ethan stood on the balcony rail, arms spread wide, his face pale but determined. "You're all liars!" he shouted. "You say she's gone, but I still hear her voice. You think she left us? She didn't," she promised. The chandelier light flickered, casting trembling shadows over his small figure. Clara froze at the bottom of the stairs, her heart pounding. "Ethan," she said calmly, her voice low but steady. "Come down from there." He shook his head violently. "You don't know anything about her." "You didn't love her?" His words sliced through the air. Clara took a small step forward. "You're right," she said gently. "I didn't love her the way you did. But I knew her heart, Ethan. I knew how she talked about you, how proud she was every time she said your name." He blinked, confusion breaking through his anger. "She's still with you," Clara continued, her voice trembling now. "In the way you protect Lily. In the way you hide your pain instead of letting it destroy her. That's your mother's love living through you." Ethan's lip quivered. The defiance drained from his face, leaving behind only a frightened child. He looked down, realizing how far he was from the ground, how close he stood to something irreversible. "She left me," he whispered, tears filling his eyes. "She left me to take care of everything." Clara shook her head, stepping closer. "No, Ethan. She trusted you because she believed you were strong enough. But she never meant for you to carry this alone." His knees buckled, and in that instant he slipped. Clara darted forward, catching him before he fell, her arms wrapping around him tightly. For a long moment, neither moved. The rain crashed against the windows as Ethan buried his face in her shoulder, sobbing the grief he had swallowed for years. Lily ran to them, clinging to both of them, her small voice breaking as she said, "We're okay now, right?" Clara nodded through tears. "Yes, sweetheart. You're safe now." When Mr. Harrington returned that night, the house was quiet. The storm had passed, leaving only the soft sound of rain. He found Clara sitting with both children by the fire, Ethan's head on her lap, Lily asleep beside them. Mr. Harrington's eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "How did you do it?" Clara looked up at him and smiled faintly. "They didn't need control," she said softly. "They just needed to be seen." From that night on, the Harrington mansion changed. Laughter filled the halls again, not cruel or sharp, but light and warm. Ethan and Lily no longer fought to be heard. They had finally been understood. And though Clara never spoke of it again, every night as she tucked them into bed, she would hum that same lullaby, keeping her silent promise to their mother. one born of love.